Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. My name is Bernhard. I'm from Vienna, and I grew up in the 70s and 80s in a very safe and family-centered environment. Discussing with my parents about society, values, and politics was a normal thing when I was young. But less from the perspective of political parties, but more about the importance of individual freedom, social engagement, and about how important values are in life to make society a better place. By the way, this is me, 1973, explaining the world to the governor of the state of Upper Austria. However, as a kid discussing with my dad, and also later as an adult, it has been very difficult to understand how individual freedom and responsibility for others go together, as they seem to be a contradiction, at least at first glance. If you follow one of these concepts to the max, the other can't be fulfilled. The model of cooperatives helped me to understand how it is possible to combine both, and I would like to share some ideas with you today how we can find a future setup for further growth, but not only economically, but also socially. In economic terms, the shareholder value can be seen as the individual freedom to maximize one's earnings. Don't get me wrong, a stock exchange is a good thing. It is there to supply companies with fresh money for investments, but it should not be abused as a casino for gambling. Today, the pure shareholder value is more and more superseded by stakeholder or community values, at least by the young generation. They seem to think more in long-term perspectives and in sustainability, not only economically, but also environmentally and socially. This generation Z combines two different, perhaps even opposite approaches towards life that were so far not combinable. Total individualism at the one hand, expressed through their smartphones. I want things right now, tailor-made for me, and I can get them. At the same time, they develop new social or community thinking, expressed through a very passionate and serious participation in mass movements like Fridays for Future. The fascinating thing is that it's not two different groups in society, but it's the very same persons that simultaneously act in both directions, and it's not going towards one against the other. Therefore, we need to find ways to satisfy both needs, individualism and community thinking on the other hand. At the same time, we face a disruption of traditional business models through digitalization in the last decade. Bill Gates said something like, "We all need banking, but we do not need banks." Is that true? Yes and no is the correct answer, I think. Yes, for the fact that everyone who has got some money is theoretically able to give loans to others, or offer people to give her or him their savings in exchange for payment of interests. From this perspective, Bill Gates' quote is maybe right, but then definitely not limited to banks. As you know, the biggest provider of transportation worldwide does not own one single tire or steering wheel. The biggest department store in the world doesn't even own a grocery store, and the biggest provider of accommodation does not own one single mattress. Of course, you know that I'm talking about Uber, Amazon, and booking platforms like Trivago. So the asset of traditional companies is probably not the product or the service, but it's something different. It's trust and safety. Let us stick to the example of the bank. Although banks are less trusted than in decades before, it is still more common to give your money to a bank than to somebody you don't know, and of whom you hope that he's giving it back sooner or later. You trust the bank that it can do all the things with your money you want it to do. Safety is based on legal framework that provides safety nets for customers and also a tight and strict control mechanism guaranteed by law. So from this legal perspective, we do need traditional banks and do need department stores, hotels, or taxis. Though the question is how to create a setup that fulfills the individual needs and the needs for caretaking of the Generation Z, and at the same time matches the need for safety and reliability in business in a digital environment. One approach is the strategy and the structure of a company. So far, there's an owner and a client. Following the shareholder value, the owner tries to get the most out of it financially. The client wants high quality performance, tailor-made products and services for a cheap price, of course. These two goals go in different directions. What if the owner and the customer are the same person? Of course, this person still wants to earn some money, but she or he definitely wants to satisfy the customer's needs in the best possible way. This is where cooperatives start. Here comes the 7 principles of cooperatives. Voluntary and open membership. Cooperatives are voluntary organizations, open to all the persons able to use their services and willing to accept the duties of membership. Discrimination of any kind, gender, race, or religion, is a no-go. Democratic member control. What does it mean? Cooperatives are democratic organizations controlled by their members, who actively participate in the organization. In most cooperatives, members have equal voting rights, which means 1 member, 1 person, 1 vote. The next principle, economic participation. Members contribute to the capital of their cooperative. At least part of that capital is usually the common property of the cooperative. Members usually receive limited compensation. Members allocate surpluses for the following purposes: developing their cooperative, setting up reserves, benefiting members in proportion to the transactions with the cooperative, and supporting other activities approved by the membership. Autonomy and independence. Cooperatives are autonomous, self-help organizations controlled by their members. If they enter into agreements with other organizations, including governments, they maintain their cooperative autonomy. 5th one, education, training, and information. Cooperatives provide education and training for their members, the employees, the managers, the representatives, so they can contribute effectively to the development of the cooperatives. They inform the general public, particularly young people and opinion leaders, about the nature and the benefits of cooperation. Cooperation among cooperatives. Cooperatives serve their members most effectively and strengthen their cooperative movement by working together through local, national, regional, and international structures to strengthen other cooperatives. And the last one, concern for community. Cooperatives work for the sustainable development of their community. Sustainability is the key word here. To sum it up, these 7 principles go together in 2 main key issues: subsidiarity and solidarity. Solidarity is a well-known term. It is the agreement between and the support for members of a group. Subsidiarity means that the individual comes first. The individual can decide if the group shall be involved in his or her own issues or not. It is not the group that takes the decision. The group is not more important than the individual. If the individual member asks the group for help to get something in motion that she or he can only move together with the support of others, then we talk about solidarity. How does such a model work operationally? The members of the cooperative elect their representatives. The representatives elect the supervisory board. The supervisory board appoints a management board, and the management board employ the employees who serve the members. So this is very similar to well-known forms of organizations. The interesting thing is that all of these four bodies are at the same time members. This is maybe the reason why it's so successful. A man called Friedrich Wilhelm Raiffeisen was the first founder of a cooperative bank almost 200 years ago. Why did he do that? Easy, because he had to. No bank at that time would provide loans to farmers, but they needed money to buy machinery. What Raiffeisen did was to collect money from the community, and with this, they bought the equipment that they owned together, and one used after the other. Raiffeisen got famous for this concept, which, to my opinion, is very modern today. It's a concept of the 21st century, so to say. We just tend to say sharing economies instead of corporations. Thank you very much.